Hey, everybody.
Howdy ho.
How's it going? It's last Thursday.
It is. At first, I didn't know if you're asking them or if you're asking me.
I guess both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah, how about you?
Pretty good. This is actually the real last Thursday of the month as well.
Yep.
It feels like it's extra special.
It always does, actually. And I mean, symbolically, too. It's like you're closing out everything from the month, and
Right.
that's always nice.
Totally.
But yeah, it is always cool when the last Thursday comes on last Thursday, because last Thursday is original. Like, the reason I picked this was because of a festival that actually happens in Portland on last Thursdays. I actually don't know if they still do it.
I'm not sure. Well, geez, now, especially over the last few years, who really knows?
I don't know, but it was one of my favorite things that I came across when I moved to Portland.
Right.
Because it was so cool. They would like shut down a portion of this really popular street, and there were all these vendors, and there was music, and there was food, and all the businesses up and down the street would be open, and the bars would be open, and there were just like tons of people. It was basically like a street festival every single month.
Right.
During the summer.
Totally.
And so when I was thinking about ideas for shows, it just popped in my head of last Thursday because I have so many fond memories. So
Definitely. Nice. Awesome. Well, you want to cruise through these opening sort of slides here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Alrighty. So a few announcements before we get going here, and hopefully you guys are doing well. First off, thank you to the Healing Home patrons, which consists of 5 people right now: Chance, Binaboo, Lockjaw Jane, Liam Anderson, and Amy. Much appreciated. Much love, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.
For sure. It's huge. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/thehealinghome. If you guys like what we're doing over here and like what Michelle's doing with her solo show. And speaking of solo shows.
Yes, this week on Tuesday, I had a solo show, which was really nice. It was herbal, lunar, and natural hair care, which it basically is healthcare as well. But it was a really fun episode, and I went through like my own personal hair care routine and tips for people. We talked about just scalp health and the moon and using the moon as a guide for hair cutting and all sorts of stuff. So if you're interested in learning more about it, you can go and check it out on the channel. But it was a really nice one, and I had a lot of fun.
Totally. Yeah. And you said that this might be your favorite thumbnail of all time so far.
It is. It definitely is my favorite thumbnail of all time.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah, it's a painting by Mucha. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, I think so. And then to clarify, though, I noticed that on the show you said that it was Art Deco, and this is more
Art Nouveau.
Art Nouveau,
yeah. That's what I probably meant
I knew
to say.
You knew, but that's what you said. So,
whoops.
Oh yeah, it's all good. Welcome to my life. You know what I mean?
Oh.
I'm teasing. The other cool thing actually is that we finally got your show on a podcast hosting platform.
Yes.
So now we're starting to add your show to the different platforms that are out there, like iTunes and whatever. But the first one that was really easy to set up was Spotify.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah, so your stuff is on Spotify now, and we're going to be adding older shows to, basically to your whole entire feed. So you guys can expect to see Healing Home episodes there. I don't think it's really right for last Thursday, though.
No.
I could be mistaken, but
I mean, maybe. I guess maybe if there's like an episode that we feel really strongly about, that we're like, yeah, let's put that on. Or if one of us does like a presentation or something on one of these.
Yeah.
Then maybe, but these are so casual, and we're hanging and we're interacting with the chat that somebody who might be listening, it might be weird or
exactly
disorienting or something. So,
for sure. But that link is in the description. So if you guys use Spotify, we would appreciate a follow.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And even if you don't really use Spotify, but you have an account, just give a follow anyway. I followed. You guys should too. So that's kind of cool. That's nice. That's a nice little progression right there.
Yeah, and Mario's been so helpful with getting that started too.
Right.
He's helpful with all these things, but yeah,
it's
he's
true.
The catalyst behind this one for sure.
Definitely. And then also, I just wanted to plug my show yesterday with Ben. So I was on Odin's Alchemy, and it was cool. It was really fun. I love talking to Benjamin. I feel like I get just an exclusive chance to have his undivided attention to ask him all sorts of questions. And so I was thinking of notes of things that I wanted to talk about, and actually the notes were far outweighed with things I wanted to ask Benjamin.
Yeah.
So it was just like a privilege and an honor, you know.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys had a great show. It was a really good conversation.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah. And we're going to be collaborating on some artwork together, basically. And so you guys will see that later on this year, what we have going on in that regard. But I thought it was a fun conversation. So I don't know, man. He's a homie. I really like what he's been doing lately. And some of the people he's had on as guests, super interesting. And just overall, really love the guy. And Christy, too. She's fantastic.
Yeah, ditto. All the same sentiments coming from me, too.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so go check that out. And then also last week, I did a couple of presentations. I did, I think, 3 live streams last week.
Yeah, I think you did.
2. I mean, I did more than that, actually. But stuff for Symbolic Studies, I did 2 kind of presentations on the Tower card. The first one was definitely the bulk of the information. And then I felt like there was some leftover stuff that I wanted to get off my chest. So it was way more casual, but I actually did a part 2 of the Tower card. So if you guys are interested in tarot, definitely check that out. There's a lot of stuff that I'm still chewing on with it. I don't think I'm going to do a part 3, but for whatever reason, the Tower card has been like very present for me in the best of ways. Tower symbolism and all the things that kind of correspond with it and stuff. So anyways, I feel like I'm still kind of coming to new revelations and all of that. But yeah, if you like tarot, or if you're specifically, give that a go. And that'll do it. So let me get rid of this screen here. And there we are. Hey guys. And then let's add your logo.
It's just slow.
It takes a second. Yeah, it's slow because of our internet connection. There we go. There we go. Nice. Well, should we check the chat first?
I say we introduce our drink.
Okay.
Because I really want to have some of it.
Let's do it.
Cool. So today we're drinking pineapple, carrot, and ginger kombucha.
Ooh. Hoo, hoo, hoo.
Yeah, this is a special one. I haven't busted out the carrot in kombucha in a little while, but it's always a really nice flavor combination with the pineapple.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Cheers.
Cheers.
I always love it when it's a homemade drink, by the way.
Me too. It's so much better. Oh yeah. That's good. I feel like it could. This is this is the 7th day.
Oh man.
Ferment. Mm-hmm. So typically by the 10th day, I've found on the 2nd ferment, 10 days in is when I start to really get a lot of fizz. This one has a little bit of fizz, but I like it really fizzy. But this is great. It tastes really good. It's on the sweeter side, so if it ferments for like 2 or 3 more days, it will get more fizzy.
That's delicious. Nice.
Yeah, glad you like it.
Cool. Mm-hmm. And actually, the weather has really turned over here.
Oh my God.
And
yes.
so it almost feels like having a nice cold drink is just like that much more appropriate.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of feels a little summery today, actually.
It really felt like summer. I mean, I was out pretty much all afternoon.
Mm-hmm. You were.
And yeah, finally got all of our irrigation figured out.
I was going to say, what were you doing this afternoon?
Oh my God, it was awesome. Every time I'm outside, it's like, I just love being out there so much. But yeah, I've been thinking about the irrigation system. And so it was really, really awesome to get it laid out. And now I know exactly what we're going to need. We need a little bit more of the tubing and stuff, but for the most part, we're like set to go. Mm-hmm. So that's really cool because it's supposed to be really warm this weekend. So we're going to need to be watering things, you know, so that's cool. But
Totally. Nice. Yeah, it's going to be a big gardening weekend.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, in terms of gardening, but also finishing the fence.
Yes, we're almost finished with our dead hedge, which is really exciting.
Totally.
And we'll probably, maybe we can have some photos or a little something next.
I think by next week.
Why not? Because I think it'd be really cool to show everybody what it looks like because we're so pumped on it. It's really coming out really well.
Oh, yeah. I know. It's actually, to be honest, it's like one of my favorite things we've ever worked on together, I think.
Me too. Yeah. It's like one of our like coolest creations in terms of like a physical creation. You know, it's really cool. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So pretty stoked on it.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
And Mario designed a really cool gate. and a very cool, simple, like hinge system.
Yeah.
That's like awesome, and it's so simple. And that's one of the things about this fence is just like, oh my God, we haven't used any hardware, so there's no screws, there's no nails. We've only used like really thick twine to tie some things together, like the gate and the hinge.
Right.
But other than that, it's all wood that is literally within walking distance of our house, basically.
right.
Because we were harvesting stuff for a while, and then our buddies came over and helped us lay the foundation of it, lay all the posts in, and harvest more wood. And our neighbor, has a plethora of just, trees that he was like, hey, you can cut stuff down if you want. So
He's like, take as many trees and limbs as you want.
he's like, hey, why don't you go through the burn piles that I have, And so anyway, it was really cool. And our neighbors have been very supportive too, and just coming by and,
Right.
enjoying it. And it's kind of like it reminds me of like I don't know, it's like a witch's cottage garden.
It's
fence.
wild.
It's wild and chaotic.
It's wild and chaotic in the most beautiful of ways.
Yeah, and the birds love it. I mean, it's really cool. So it's going to be fun to see what happens with it.
Hell yeah. Right on. Nice. For sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. Well, there's 18 people here. Thank you so much for hanging.
Yeah, happy Thursday, guys.
Permission to check the chat now? Is that
Yes.
okay? Okay.
Yes, our drinks have been presented.
All right. Let's see who is here. Flat Earth Hippie was here. What's up, dude? Thanks for hanging,
Howdy,
being
Hank.
here. What's up, Kabir? Oh, hey, Moonlander 2. Hi, Mario, Michelle, and everyone. Glad to finally not be late to one of these.
Nice.
Cool. So this is Tattoo Dave.
Yep.
Dave, I don't even know if you know. I call you Tattoo Dave. That is your nickname that I've been calling you for like years now.
It's because we have a couple Daves in our life.
We do.
And so to differentiate,
And
it
you
was Tattoo
you
Dave.
have more ink than the other Dave, so therefore you're Tattoo Dave.
Yes, I think it's a great nickname.
And then actually, Dave sent me some awesome notes. I don't know if you caught the second tower card presentation.
I don't think I
but
did.
he sent me a couple of emails. And it was very, very helpful. Good information, because Dave's really into tarot. Excuse me. He's really into tarot, and so he saw some things within the tower, and some of the cards I was talking about, and he just started weaving away with certain things and sent me a lot of information. So I spent some of that presentation just reading over his stuff. Actually,
sweet, that's cool.
So anyway, so Dave, all of that stuff was really well received, man. So Michelle is here.
Howdy.
Hello, thank you so much. Liam is here. What's going on, Liam?
Hey, Liam.
Hey, Sarah G. Thank you for being here.
What's up, Sarah?
Glad to see that Hank is doing well. That is awesome.
Nice.
I figured as much.
Yeah.
Lucas is here. What's up, dude?
Hey, Lucas.
Hey, my Cherie. Nice to see you as always.
What's up, my lady?
What's up, Chance? Nice to see you, man. Really stoked to see your guys' Vibrant from last night. I haven't had a chance, but very interested. That I think I've asked Gabe and Chance maybe a couple of things that I hope they went over, but letter switch sort of stuff and etymological sort of wordplay, nerdy things. But anyways, that's dude. And Jenny G is here. Hello.
What's up, Jenny?
Okay, cool. So Chance, who has a fantastic show, is saying you should do all of them on that audio RSS, in my opinion. So he's saying that we should just do everything on there.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes, I do that even with vibrants that are heavy on visual aspects. Yeah.
Okay.
I noticed actually kind of setting up her stuff that you do put a lot of stuff on there. And if I'm not mistaken, you even put other shows that you've been on your feed, right? So I know.
Oh, I've been wondering about that.
I
wondered about the other show thing because I had the idea of that, but wasn't sure if that's
right.
I mean, it's like I feel like the internet is, I don't know. It's like, are there rules to this stuff? I think so, but I think that you can get creative or
I think a lot of people's philosophies, I think Chance is probably like this, but it's almost kind of like if you're doing content, it's like, why not show it to your people?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So if you've been on a show, why not mirror it if they're cool with it and all that kind of stuff?
Right.
And so it's like you're putting the effort into it. We're here, we're present right now, talking about stuff. There might be people who would be interested in it. So
that's true.
Liam is saying that he'll add it to his Spotify.
Thanks, Liam.
Nice. Cool. Nice, Mario. I'm halfway through replaying. Great show. Very cool. Oh, sweet. Crazy syncs with the tower on other channels since your stream also. Nice.
Ah,
I'm unaware of that, actually. Maybe, is it Interverse or other channels or what's going on? I'm kind of curious. If there's a way to condense it and tell me or fill me in, that would be cool. If not, if it's too long-winded or whatever, no worries. What's up, James? Grounded Extracts. Nice to see you.
hey. Thanks for hanging on a Thursday, James.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Shout out to Najl too and your little ones. Hope you guys are doing good.
Absolutely. Yes, totally. We should, yeah, next time, I'm going to remember this. Next Wednesday, we also got Taurus herbs coming up.
Yes.
100%.
Totally.
Yeah.
We do.
We should make a mental note to announce that at the end, too.
Yeah, we can. I can
and then
write
also
it down.
For Tuesday for you.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. I have a good time.
Yeah, and I
that.
just reached out to Kyle today to run through with him what I'm thinking about. So
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, and then Taurus being the middle sign of spring. I just feel like it's going to be a banger. Moonlander Tattoo Dave says the tower is such a dynamic card, makes sense that there'd be a lot to say. Yeah, absolutely, man. Even just today, Christy, and I was talking to Christy on the phone today, and it was just really interesting. She's been meditating a lot, and she went to an event where she was meditating I think up to 6 hours a day. And even some of the stuff she was saying of what she was learning from her teachers and guides and stuff like that reminded me so much of the Tower card. It's crazy. But the Tower being related to, the Kundalini awakening and things of that sort. I feel like I have newer insights on that. So I'll talk about that at some point. Sweet. So, right on. Lucas just said, I just made an apple and pineapple juice. The pineapples I got are amazing. Nice. That sounds awesome.
dude, apple, pineapple, and lemon. It used to be, okay, this is funny. And Lucas, you're in Australia, so I have to tell the story. When I was studying abroad in Australia, I worked at this coffee shop, and it was kind of a juice bar. They had a juicer or whatever. And I used to make pineapple, green apple, and lemon juice. And dude, I had never had anything like that before. And I was like, whoa, this is so good. And I was making it at work and stuff. But anyway, I had to say that because he's in Australia
Nice.
and to know that he did that. But yeah, pineapple and apple are freaking delicious together, particularly green apples, I find.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's a good combo.
I'm into it.
It'd make a good kombucha too.
What's up, Joshua the Branch? Nice to see
Joshua.
you, dude. Thanks for hanging and coming. All right. Cool.
Miri's here.
Oh, Tattoo Dave approves of his nickname that I've been
Nice.
calling him for 4 years
figured-
now or whatever.
Figured he wouldn't mind.
Hey, Mari. Nice to see you.
What's
yeah,
up, Miri?
we're going to see Artists here in a couple of weeks or a week and a half or something.
I think it's actually next week already.
Yeah, not this weekend, but the following weekend, right?
Yeah, the following week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to the hugs as well.
Yeah.
You give excellent hugs, for sure. Highly recommended. Ask Hank. She gives great hugs. Yeah, Chance is just saying, yeah, I think it's a good way to help promo the other shows. For sure, dude. I know, man. I feel like for such a long time, I wanted Symbolic Studies, the channel, just to be my original content or whatever. But the more and more I think about it, the more I'm like, I should have just been uploading everything the whole entire time. And it really is about just helping everyone out and stuff like that. So I need to get on it. And our internet connection, I hate to say it, but it really, it's so slow here that I feel like I probably would have been doing that a lot more too if we had a faster connection.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things we'd be doing if we had a faster connection. So
Yeah.
I think actually, to be honest, kind of like with Odin's Alchemy, he has Jared. And so I think I'm looking for a Jared.
Yeah, it would be really
at some
helpful
point,
for us.
I feel like we're going to look for Jared and we're going to find somebody like that, a producer, an outside producer.
Yeah, that we can send stuff to.
Yeah, and then they can upload it to everything.
Yeah, because, we can obviously go to a coffee shop, but then you're sitting at the coffee shop for hours.
Right.
I don't even know how,
It'd be awesome just to upload one video file and then they put it on all the platforms and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. So anyways, in due time. This
that'll
is
come.
all solvable stuff. So, it's all on me. So no big deal. But yeah, I agree with you ultimately. Oh, hey, Mercury Mel. Nice
Hey,
to
Mel.
see you.
What's up, my lady?
As always, very cool that she's always so supportive
Yes,
of us.
always very supportive. All of y'alls are always supportive.
What's up, Brandon Stark? Hey, y'all, always drinking something fancy Thursdays. Yeah,
right.
pretty much. Exactly. So, let's see here. Anything else?
Hinterlanders is here.
Nice. Just real quick. So Mithras in the bowl. Yeah. So, oh, okay. I gotcha. So Joshua's talking about Taurus, Milky Way. Talked about that a little bit. Re-uploaded some videos from last year, actually, and they're doing pretty well. Taurus and Orion, Bull and Bullfighter. Interesting. Nice. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, right. Well, so yeah, that's interesting, man. There's a lot to talk about with that, actually. And let's see here. Anyone else? Okay, Hinterlanders. Howdy from the Hinterlanders. The show with Ben was awesome. Aw, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, Ben's a fucking cool dude. So feel lucky that he would want to have me on. Nice. All right, Joe Anthony. What's up, cool dude?
What's up, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thanks for hanging.
And the Cozy Crone is here.
Woo!
Andrea.
Hell yeah. Nice. What's up, Cozy Crone? Cool.
Sweet.
Awesome. Well, as you guys know, we have this format that we like and we've been sticking to. So you've chosen a topic. I've chosen a topic. We're both prepared to talk about these topics.
Yes.
And I don't know what you chose. You don't know what I chose. It's really fun. It's funny, like writing notes and stuff. And I could tell you just want to see my notes.
No, I don't. I don't want to.
I'm teasing. I know you don't.
I want it to be a surprise.
No, I know. Whenever she walks by, I have my clipboard and I just kind of like, I try and steer clear of her sight. I don't want her to see what I'm working on. So anyway, so what we do is we get you want to get one of those dice over there?
Sure.
So we'll get a dice and then we will roll it for superiority. And we'll see who gets the highest number. And whoever gets the highest number will go first, okay?
Sounds good.
You should go first. Ladies first.
Okay, thank you. Big money, big money, big money. Actually, I don't care if I go first or second.
Yeah,
It
me
doesn't really
neither.
matter. Okay.
3. All right.
Kind of low. We'll see. It's a possibility, though. Oh, 4.
All righty.
4.
I'm going first, guys.
Go first, baby.
Cool. All right. So I actually, just like last week, I have visuals to help me out here. And so I uploaded some visuals.
Nice.
Unbeknownst to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I want to talk about, actually, because there's so much going on with it, and we are in Taurus season. I know, yeah. Flat Earth 50 saying when dice die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always forget to correct him on that, but yeah, he says that.
No, I'm aware. It's almost just kind of like
You forget.
Well, I've been saying it that way for like decades, so
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Just kind of sticking with it. But understood either way. So I'm going to talk about my Taurus print.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right,
And
I
so
like this.
I'm going to talk about my Taurus print because the original intention behind doing these illustrations is that I feel as though what I wanted to do was create one illustration per sign and encode it with so much information that you can essentially teach a class on that sign using the poster print as a visual aid. And so I've done 3 prints and we're in the middle of the season of the prints that I've actually created, right? And so I feel like Taurus too is, I mean, easily it's my bestseller, first off. And then I think it might be my favorite, So it's kind of almost a tie between that and Gemini.
I was gonna say
for me. Gemini's great too.
Yeah, but I love the Taurus. I love Taurus and Gemini are my 2 favorites, I'd say.
Yeah, so these are my prints. If you want one, by the way, they're available on Etsy. They're all hand signed. And then each order gets a bookmark, which has a little correspondence sheet printed on it, basically. And then it also comes with a study packet, an actual physical printed study packet, a 4-page elemental study packet. And then it also comes with what I call a one sheet. And the one sheet is literally decoding the poster for you. And it's kind of filling you in on all of the symbolism found within the print. And so that was kind of just like a natural progression, was to include that. So that is the piece right
Nice.
there, you know, kind of like just the main graphic. And then also this is the one sheet.
Yeah.
So this is the
so
breakdown
cool.
of the sheet.
Yeah.
So you can see the artwork in the middle, and then I have these letters around it, and then the letters correspond with the different little paragraphs there, decoding the artwork. And there you can see it zoomed in a little bit better, right?
Very nice. I love that you do these one sheets. It's seriously so cool.
Yeah, I think it's awesome too. And so I even have like related symbols. So there's just so much to talk about with all this stuff. I'm like, dude, this is a great way just to kind of, I know we've been in tour season for a little bit, but to kind of like kick off tour season on last Thursday at least.
Yeah.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it here for now. And then I have the one sheet breakdown. And so I actually am going to go through the one sheet of the information.
Okay.
And then I'm going to add more information and just kind of riff off of some of the stuff that I'm seeing.
Okay.
So let me grab that real quick.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, this is a great idea, bub. I'm liking this. Because you haven't done this yet, like publicly, I don't think.
No.
You haven't broken down your prints, and I mean, why not? It's like you've created this beautiful piece, and I think that we should make more of a habit of going through these each
Well,
pieces.
I said that during Aries. Or even Pisces. So I showed an illustration of Pisces.
Oh, that's right. You showed
and
it.
so I'm like,
Okay.
you know what? During last Thursday, at least one episode every month, I'm going to talk about my print, I think.
There you go. Here we are.
And here we are. So just to show you this breakdown sheet. So the resolution isn't really great on StreamYard, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wish they offered a high resolution for slideshows and stuff. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal.
Right. But anyway, so up top, you can see that I have the constellation itself. So I literally show you the constellation. Obviously, you can see on the right-hand side the name of the constellation and then the glyph for the constellation. But I'm going to leave it here on the artwork as I go through everything. So, so the intro paragraph basically says, "The well of Taurus is very deep. The bull or cow next to the snake is perhaps the most revered creature in the animal kingdom. It's the second sign of spring and has long been associated with prosperity and new life. In the distant past, Taurus was the first sign of spring and encoded many associated themes." And so this is if you go by precession, you know. So if all of the constellations are changing ever so slightly, if the rotation of the heavens changes so slightly, it's something like, I believe it's 1 degree every 72 years. So this is a debate that people have.
Okay.
Does precession occur or not? And for the purposes of this sheet, I'm basically saying that it does, but I'm open to the idea that it's not. That's kind of an aside.
Okay.
While there have been many bull gods linked with abundance, it's also been affiliated with many sacrificial gods as well. Moloch, as an example, comes to mind. The bull is one of the, quote, 4 faces of God, or, quote, 4 living creatures, alongside the lion, which is Leo, the eagle, which is the eagle, which is Scorpio, and then the human, which is Aquarius, right? So I'm sure most of you guys are familiar with the tetramorphs, the 4 faces of God. They often appear on the Wheel of Fortune card. They appear on the Universe card. In the Thoth deck, they even appear on the Hierophant card. And so these 4 fixed signs, they each have a royal star associated with them. And so Taurus's royal star is Aldebaran, and it's big and brilliant. Bull symbolism appears in the stories of some of the biggest religions on Earth. And I'm developing a video about that. Okay, so the first thing I'm pointing out has to do with her arms. So all of the arms of the main figure are receptive in nature, not unlike the horns of the cow. The many arms also represent the many gifts the bull continues to give mankind. So notice that her arms are all receptive. They're all creating vessels.
Right.
And this was very intentional. You know, she also could have been holding different things. I chose not to do that. But I also get into the arm symbolism that she's making, which kind of looks like a referee when there's like a field goal or something like that. and that's known as like a ka symbol. And in ancient Egypt, you can see hieroglyphs where a person is doing just that with their arms. They're making a ka. And so I have an entry about the ka here. It says the last pair of arms are a reference to an Egyptian hieroglyph, ka, which translates to power, energy, spirit, life, and is related to the concept of the quote spiritual double. I got into this actually during last Gemini season. The idea that the Gemini glyph or the Gemini constellation, in part, I think one of the things it's saying is that you have a relationship with your etheric double or your spiritual double,
Right?
your invisible twin, basically. So Ka symbolism, that arm gesture, her arms in the back, that's what it's alluding to. So even just notice that the arms pointing upward, it almost looks like two pillars, right? Which is the glyph for Gemini. These concepts relate to the great bull of heaven in several ways. So I'm now talking about the symbolism, which is B of the horns here. The Egyptians thought their souls passed upwards through cusps after death, which were also called the horns of the bull. The ribbons around the horns are a symbolic reference to this journey to the great beyond. The horns are wrapped 7 times, similar to the tefillin ritual in Judaism.
Oh, yes. Okay, I remember this part.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we talked about this with Joshua.
Yeah, we
Right?
did.
And so there's several ways to wrap your tefillin. And but my understanding is one of the common ways is to wrap the tefillin around your arm 7 times. So this gets back to the 7 gates of the great beyond business of like, why is there always like 7 steps or 7 processes to transition, you
Or
know?
7 ice cubes in our kombucha.
Did you put 7 ice
Yes,
cubes?
I did. See? Ching. I do that
Nice.
kind of shit all the time.
Unbeknownst to me,
Yeah, or like,
underneath my nose, and I'm not even noticing.
yeah, when I'm chopping food, I'll like chop it in certain numbers and like put the intention in, and yeah.
It tastes honestly like extra like transcendent. I seriously was gonna say that. I'm like, this is like a transcendental what? You don't think so?
I mean, sure, but yeah.
I'm kidding. So the ribbon wrapping up the horns 7 times is a reference to these 7 steps.
Okay.
Which is a reference to the tefillin as well around the arm. And also the other Jewish thing about it is the fact that it's 2 horns, and in front of every synagogue, or sorry, not literally in the front of every synagogue, but within my understanding, a lot of synagogues, you're going to see those twin pillars, right? Just like the twin pillars in front of Solomon's temple, which is mythical anyway. But in illustrations, you're generally going to see those twin pillars, Boaz, Jachin, mercy, severity, blah, blah, blah. I'm always going on about that all the time. But these 2 horns to me are symbolic of that anyway. And then also, I don't know what they're called. Maybe somebody here, Joshua, maybe you might have something to say about this. But, you know, Orthodox Jews will also have the ribbon curls of their
Yes.
hair.
Right.
That's what's also going on here with this bull
Right.
as well.
Right.
So between the wrapping of the horns and then also the ribbon as it hangs, I was intentionally encoding Jewish symbolism, basically, you know. For better or worse,
Depending
on who you are, you know what I mean. And so, anyway,
Well, but it's not. I mean, there's a reason why it's so powerful and potent, and why they're so hardcore about it.
oh yeah.
Because there's big meaning behind it, as there is with so many other, religions and stuff like that.
Totally.
practices,
But symbolically, you know, when I'm designing stuff for people, I'm always looking for patterns. What kind of pattern can we create? If somebody comes at me with a logo design or whatever, and they have something in the name that you can kind of create some sort of pattern off of for the logo, or they want some sort of design, but there's some way to tweak it so that there's kind of another concept built into it. I'm probably going to take it if it makes sense. And so I found that opportunity here, and I just decided to go for it. And so that's what I decided to do. So anyway, so even just things with the wrapped horns, it's like, there was a lot of thought and care on my end, at least, to kind of encode information in that.
right.
Which kind of gets into as well, speaking of 7, that there's 7 stars above the whole piece, right? So this is a reference to the Pleiades, the 7 sisters of the Pleiades, which is within Taurus, but just above Taurus, like just on the upper portion of where Taurus is at. And so, you know me with 7 stars and the number 7 and everything else. This is a tangent that I don't think I'm going to get into right now, but I do think a lot of symbolism that's attributed to the Pleiades perhaps is kind of like an older reference actually to Ursa Major and Minor. And that I think a lot of, because it's amazing when you look into Pleiadian symbolism, there's so much crossover with the northern sky and with the dippers, it kind of blows your mind. And I'm not saying that all cultures who have a reverence for the Pleiades are wrong or anything like that, but just through my research, this hunch has come to me multiple times. And I've talked to other astrologers who have actually, believe it or not, said the same thing. Allie, Cosmic Space Witch.
Oh, yeah.
Which she's not a geocentrist. She's a heliocentrist, but she has even mentioned that too. And without me prompting anything, she has said, she goes, oh yeah, she goes, I think a lot of symbolism tied to the Pleiades is actually a reference to Ursa Major.
Yeah.
That there was some sort of switch that kind of happened. And I don't know if this is correct, but part of my hunch is that perhaps with the sort of either introduction or adoption or whatever of heliocentrism, that maybe that's when some of the information that was tied to the northern sky and Ursa Major and Minor, the 7 stars of Ursa Major and Minor, were transferred over to the Pleiades. I could be completely wrong on that. So I'm willing to be open to that. But there is a lot of fascinating overlapping information. And now that I'm just talking about it, part of me wants to do a presentation on it so I can kind of flesh it all out. But there's a lot of amazing overlapping information with the northern sky and the Pleiades. It's kind of crazy. And so there's even this guy on YouTube. He has done this documentary series, and he talks a lot about afterlife symbolism. And he's talking about the thigh of the bull, but he relates it to Taurus. And he's talking about the 7 stars of ascension and this and that and whatever. And he puts it all on the Pleiades. And when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, bro, we're like talking about the exact same symbolism. You're seeing it this way. He's a heliocentrist.
Right.
I'm seeing it the other way because I'm a geocentrist. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So anyways, all of that stuff, there's just more to chew on, and there's more to expand upon with all of that. So perhaps I'll get into that sometime. And then I mentioned the rings behind the woman's head there. And I say the set of merging concentric circles behind the figure form a torus field, as in a torus field.
Right.
Isn't it amazing that we call it a torus field? That just in and of itself is wild to me. This field is a direct reference to the bull of heaven. A lot can be said. I'm going to start all over. This field is a direct reference to the bull of heaven, and a lot can be learned from studying its shape and dynamic. And so that was another thing that I wanted to encode, is literally a cross section of a torus field. And so you can see that shape behind her. Makes perfect sense that I would want to include that, obviously, in this print.
Of course, yeah.
And there's there's so many tangents we can go on with that too. And I already mentioned the Pleiadian reference. Also, point E, where's that at here? Oh, the lotus. I wanted to include a flower as a means of amplifying the feminine energy of the piece. The lotus in particular evokes purity, enlightenment, self-regeneration, and rebirth. And so you see that there in her lap. I think that makes a lot of sense. I mentioned the arms in the background, point F. And then now I'm going to be talking about the 2 keys down below. And so the crossed keys are a reference to the golden and silver gates, which have been associated with Taurus and Scorpio, its opposing sign. These same keys can be seen on many classic Hierophant cards, which is ruled by Taurus. And so, so if you look at a lot of Hierophant cards, you're going to see oftentimes that golden and silver key. Usually it's at the feet of the Hierophant or the Pope. I have not listened to the presentation yet, but if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard that maybe Gabe and Chance the other day were talking about linguistics being a key, etymology being a key, because the Hierophant really, his whole thing is that he's a bridge builder. And so he is a mediator between the people and God, basically. And so could that sort of mediator role basically be the understanding or being able to communicate and translate, the word of God to the people, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Is that how he's the bridge, actually?
Right.
Is he the bridge via communication, that he has a way to communicate with the entities above and the entities below, something along these lines. But point being, he's always been known as being this bridge, bridging that gap between the above and the below symbolically. And so these keys, what are these keys in reference to? The gates of heaven, the gates of hell. I kind of put forth in one of my older videos that a lot of people have said that, yeah, it's related to Scorpio and Taurus, and specifically Aldebaran, the royal star of Taurus, and Antares, the royal star of Scorpio. And there's this whole idea that Aldebaran is known as the gate of hell, although there have been many things associated with it that is like very heavenly. The star has been called like the Eye of Buddha and things like that. And then Scorpio is symbolic or representative of the gate of heaven. And what I say in the video is that when you're looking towards Aldebaran, you supposedly are looking away from the center of the galaxy. And when you're looking towards Scorpio, specifically Antares, you're looking towards the center of the galaxy. So this is where some of that symbolism comes from.
Okay, well that makes sense to me, because I mean, Scorpio being so symbolic of death too. And so if you're heading towards the center, maybe that is like upon death.
Right.
If it is kind of what we've speculated, what others have speculated, that we are going back to the center.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. That checks out, or that's how it resonates
It's interesting.
with me anyway.
So if you look in like a star app or whatever, and you're looking around, you're going to see the cross section of, the center of the galaxy with Scorpio. So either way, it's interesting stuff. It
is.
All food for thought. I also say here that the pendant that you see in the middle, my whole series is like dependent on pendants. So I put the sigil for each sign within a pendant. You can actually see too that not only does the cow have a pendant on its head, but also she has that same shaped pendant around her neck.
Yeah.
Right? And so I just say here, the pendant has 4 corners, which is a reference to Taurus's earthy nature. The number 4 evokes stability and strength, not unlike the almighty bull. And then I talk about the 5-pointed stars, right, that are kind of floating above her hands. And I say the 5-pointed stars represent the 2 aspects of Venus, which rule Taurus, as the morning star and evening star. They also represent the 2 stars of the Taurus constellation that are considered the eyes of the bull, Aldebaran and Ayin. Ayin, by the way, means eye in Hebrew. And then there's a letter Ayin, which corresponds with the devil card. And I just say that a student of symbolism will find other meanings behind this as well. And so that was my nod to Venus, was the upright star and the downward star. And so I maybe even say it here, but Venus over the course of 8 years from the perspective of Earth makes a 5-pointed flower or a 5-pointed star. So sometimes it's called the Venus rose or Venus pentagram. And so when you see a 5-pointed star, it's very Venusian. And so to me, I think it most often is a direct reference to Venus as well.
Yeah.
And then if you're decoding the 5-pointed star, you're getting into the phi ratio, which is like the golden ratio, which gives us like the golden spiral and stuff like that. And then I also think it's interesting that phi and 5, as in 5-pointed, I think that's just kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Also, Roman numeral 5 is a V, and the Hierophant card, which corresponds with Taurus, is the 5th card of the major arcana. And then the Taurus constellation has a gigantic V. A gigantic V shape is like the main part of the constellation. So
isn't he doing that
in the Thoth deck? Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's one of them that I know.
Yeah, I can't remember if his fingers are split or they're together. I think they're actually split, but he's pointed downward.
That's what I thought. It was a downward thing. Yeah.
So the letter V is so baked into Taurus symbolism, it's crazy. So via the 5 connection, and then also Venus, and then the V of Taurus and stuff like that. It's just there's a lot to be said about all that stuff. Vril, yeah, exactly. And speaking of which, that's the next thing
Ah.
regarding her hair, because notice that her hair is actually morphing into the Taurus field.
Right, which that is one of my favorite parts of this whole thing.
Nice. Thank
Yeah.
you. So the Vril Society was made up of women who believed their long hair was and you just talked about hair, was a means to help them channel information from the Taurus constellation. This is my small nod toward this fascinating history. And so, I just think of like this weightlessness sort of thing. The logic behind it at the time actually was that I know that within the tarot, it's not uncommon to flip the script and show opposing symbolism. So to me, if we're talking about an earth sign, I thought it would be interesting to show some sort of weightlessness.
Right.
And so here you can see that her hair is actually, it's kind of just floating in the air and it's turning into this Taurus field. And so, anyways, that was kind of my reasoning behind it, of just kind of showing this sort of opposing kind of energy, I guess you can say.
Right.
And so there's some Vril stuff going on here. And Vril, by the way, to me is just like another word for like spirit, ether,
Yeah.
the force, things like that. And then referencing her nursing her child, I wanted a reference to mother's milk, which has a symbolic overlap with the symbolism of cow's milk, so I included a nursing child. Fittingly, in India, cows are looked at as the second mother to mankind. And so just kind of the symbolic aspect of milk and all the things we get from milk, right? Butter and ghee and cheese and yogurt and all this stuff, and the cow just gives so much basically. And I figured that it just makes sense that she would be mother given, the fact that it's the middle sign of spring, given the fact that it's ruled by Venus, all that kind of stuff. So I really wanted to kind of make this a little more feminine than I think a lot of other Taurus illustrations. And I think that that's one of the things too, is that I think a lot of people, they only just associate the bull with Taurus, but it also includes the cow.
Right.
And I think more than likely, and there's a lot of evidence to suggest this, but that Taurus was viewed more so as a cow than a bull back in the day. And that the bull aspect of it and being more aggressive and like all this other stuff, I think that's more of like a modern sort of thing actually.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I can see that.
Like so many other things like this, that they've become more masculine over time, I feel like. But
Right.
that a lot of deities, the original essence was actually more feminine in nature. Right. And so the last thing I have here is regarding the crescents up top. There's multiple crescents within the print, which are all references to the horns of the cow and lunar energy. So those are all of my sort of entries there regarding this poster. And then we can just quickly go over to the symbols that I have down below. And so you can see that I obviously included...
This is...
What's going on?
I don't know. Someone's throwing shade in the chat, I think.
Oh, gotcha.
Just want to... Sorry to interrupt, but...
Oh, no, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, I think all you have to do is just... There you go. If you feel like doing that.
Yeah, I don't even know what's going on, but I just saw it and I'm like, is this shade to a friend?
I don't know.
Okay, you should continue. I'll monitor the chat.
Okay, right on. We should give out some wrenches too.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do that through StreamYard though.
I don't know if we can or not. I think I have on when we've been done before. Like I'd go through on YouTube and do it, but
Right, gotcha. Well, yeah, monitor the situation. You know what? Actually, well, I mean, because we're not logged into YouTube in your account here, I can't give out wrenches, but you can do it on your laptop if you want to.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So,
I can do that.
you want to give out some wrenches?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can just chill here and talk for a bit. Yeah. So I'm not reading the chat, but Michelle's saying there's stuff going on. So the first symbol here is the Taurus glyph, right? And so just this glyph in and of itself is really fascinating because you can add a cross down below and then you get the Mercury symbol. And conversely, also right next to it is the Venus glyph. If you add horns to the Venus glyph, you also get the symbol for Mercury. So the symbol for Mercury, to me, it's really interesting. There's like a hybrid between Venus and Mercury, or sorry, Venus and Taurus, creating the Mercury glyph. What's going on there? I think this is very interesting. One of the things I've heard over time is that it's possible that the real consort or the real partner of Venus is actually Mercury itself. You know, it's more common to say men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I think that makes a lot of sense, but I kind of wonder a lot of times esoterically, are men actually from Mercury and women from Venus? Does that pairing make sense? I think symbolically, possibly. So I included the Taurus glyph, and then I included the Venus glyph. And I've been talking about this glyph kind of a lot lately because I've been saying that there are some schools of thought that suggest that the upside down Venus glyph could be used as the glyph for Mars. And so that's kind of what I use in my own personal notes. I also included right next to that the triangular glyph for Earth, right? So it's an upside down triangle with that line right through it. I included a crescent moon. Obviously, the horns of the bull for a long time have been related to the crescent moon. I think it's really interesting too that there's all of these myths about the bull and like the bull jumping over the moon, and then we get milk from a cow. And I think you can make the case that lunar and milk symbolism, there's a lot of crossover there. And so the crescent moon was something that I needed to include. Very interesting too, because right next to it, I included a star, a 5-pointed star. And when you put the two together, you're going to create basically, you know, the one of the symbols for Islam. And I know it's debatable that Islam doesn't really have a symbol, but you know, a lot of mosques have that crescent moon and then that star inside of it on top of the mosque. And so this kind of reminds me too, actually, that I think that there's a big correspondence with Islam and Taurus. I think there's a big correspondence with Christianity and Aries. And I also think there's a big correspondence with Gemini and Judaism. I've made a video about this, and there's, I don't know, there's a whole weave there that we can unpack. And so the 5-pointed star obviously was included. Also, you can see the cross keys, which I talked about. You can see a really simple cross section of a torus field right next to that. And then right next to that, you see kind of like a bullseye sort of thing, a bull's eye, right?
Yeah.
A target, as in a torget, as in Taurus. So literally the word target is a reference to Taurus, right? Or centaur. This is a symbol of the center or centaur. Centaur means bull killer, right? And so even just with the target or bullseye, there's a lot of stuff to be said with its relationship to Taurus. And then right next to that, I have the glyph for Aldebaran.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is kind of interesting too, because it's like, it reminds me of the cross keys.
Yeah, it actually does look a lot like that.
So it makes me wonder if the cross keys maybe has something to do with the glyph that's associated with Aldebaran. So anyways.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I know I jumped out for a second.
Oh,
but
no, it's all good.
I knew you could hold it down.
Is everything cool? Is the chat on fire?
No, well, yeah, of course. But yeah.
No, in a bad way. Like, did you have to put out a fire?
I didn't have to put it out. I actually, Chance took care of it. And yes, because I've gone through and wrenched people after our show. So basically everybody that's in here has a wrench. And Hank acknowledged that too.
Nice.
And so,
nice. Awesome. Well, that's good.
So anyway, I think he's blasted away. Which is nice.
Right on.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm like, what is this guy even talking about? Like, it was random.
No.
So anyway,
it's all good. It's all good. All right. So I'm gonna get to some comments here and see what people have been saying. Oh my gosh, I bet there's some good stuff in here. Okay, so awesome. Cool. Hinterlanders saying that he likes the print, the piece looks great. Awesome. Much appreciated. Thank you, Chance.
He is so
nice.
skilled. He blows me away, honestly. I mean, with the things he creates.
So Cozy Crone is saying that she thinks that the lady kind of looks like you. Would not be surprised, man.
Maybe it was like a subliminal or your subconscious coming out.
Totally. That's really funny. Right on, Melanie. That is badass. Very cool.
Oh, I'm a Taurus moon as well. So you're dating a Taurus moon. That's cool.
Cool. Thanks, my Shuri. His stuff always looks perfect. It's packed without looking overdone. I really try, man. I have, with all of these prints, with all of my art, I do so many revisions, and that's always what I'm going for. Is like I want it to be, simple but thoughtful. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I want there to be layers to it, but not overwhelming, not too complicated. So I really, really appreciate that. That's right. Josh was saying cornucopia of plenty for sure. Oh, thanks, dude. If there was a Symbolic Studies original art tarot deck, I'd buy the shit out of that. That's cool. I would love to, dude. If I want to get it out by the time I'm like 50, I should probably start.
You should.
Seriously. What's up, Rachel? Nice to see you.
Hey, Rachel.
Okay, let's see if there's any gravy in here.
I do want to have this on a shirt. I know, like, we kind of messed around with the print on demand stuff.
Right.
But yeah, having this as a hoodie or something
I think that
like
would be really
would
cool.
be really nice. The Gemini too.
Josh was saying 2 horns are also the 2 witnesses to the new waxing crescent of each new moon. Yeah, there you go, dude. Cool. I like that moon, right, as well. That's awesome. My Cherie says, I love the face bling. All hail the great bone mother.
Nice.
Josh was saying, yes, those are kind of like ram's horns, channeling the spirit by looking like it. Face of the Zohar, emulating Moses, who is often depicted with horns. Totally. Yeah, that's true. Exactly. Maybe we just call it Phoenician symbolism since the J word is hate speech. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Oh man. Yeah, wow, this is so cool. Very active chat tonight. Thanks, guys. Super, always nice to hear your insights and everything else that you guys think is going on with what we're throwing down.
Chance is saying, I think it's always been solar and polar, like the sun is the car, and the north is the throne of the god. Gotcha.
Ah, interesting.
I don't know what that was in reference to exactly, but that's interesting. Thank you, dude, once again. Alrighty. Much appreciated. You guys are awesome. Also, the evening star and the morning star, if my understanding is correct, you guys can definitely clarify or correct me, but I just heard Benjamin talking about this, and he's saying that the morning star is always the sun, and so he thinks people who reference Venus as the morning star, that they're incorrect.
Okay.
But people have been doing that, whether he likes it or not, sort of thing.
Oh yeah, and they'll continue.
And they'll continue to.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that, does Venus precede the morning always, and then it's the first star at night? I think that is my understanding, is that Venus precedes the morning, hence morning star, but then it also has this evening star correspondence because it's the first star at night.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's accurate. You guys should definitely correct me if that's true or not. Okay. Hey, what's up, Kyle? Tippy Canoe Herbs.
Hey, Kyle.
He's saying, howdy, I'm about to eat a croissant, which Serena calls cornetti, little horns. Yeah, man,
Ooh,
exactly.
nice.
For sure. That sounds awesome, by the way.
It does sound
yeah,
awesome.
exactly. They are little horns. Always nice to see Kyle in the mix, of course. Cool. Sweet. Well, I'm glad people have wrenches to take care of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you guys have them. Alrighty, I think I'm getting towards the end here.
Nice.
Right, that's true too. If you're looking at a cross section of a torus field the right way, you'll see a Vesca Pisces.
Oh, right.
There's that overlapping sort of element right there, right? Yeah. And I feel like maybe even doing a Taurus field show, because my understanding of the Taurus field too has grown over the last like couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's just a lot of things that we could talk about with that. So we shall see. Oh, cool. What's up, Leaves of Grass? So Liz Taylor's 1963 Cleopatra movie is fun to rewatch and search for all the hidden Taurus symbolism. It's usually in every scene.
Oh,
actually, that's
cool.
kind of cool.
That would be a fun one. I've never seen that. Actually.
I've never seen it either.
We should do that. We're always looking for movies.
Howdy ho, polymath thing.
What's up, Lou? Nice to see ya.
Right. And then Thunder Chicken's here. I don't know if we've said that. What's up, Lee?
So, oh yeah, what's up, Lee? So is that in reference to the Venus?
Yeah. So yeah, first star in sight is what Nicholas is saying. Jenny G is saying it's both. Sometimes it's a morning star, sometimes at night. Okay, so it's not at the same time then.
Depending on the side of the sun?
Depending on the side of the sun it is on. Okay.
Interesting.
Gotcha. So it has been associated with both for good reasons, depending on when, what season it is. Right. And then the black sun is the evening star. Dude, there's so much black sun stuff I want to talk about, guys. I've been asking people have been bringing it up. I can't escape the black sun right now. Seriously, I can't. It's totally part of my weave right now.
Maybe it's like sucking you in.
Don't make fun of me, okay? It's serious.
Okay. Yeah, I could tell it's serious.
Okay, Leah's saying, when it's the evening star, I've heard it called the Jesus star. As the morning star, it's the Lucifer star. So I've read.
Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely been associated with Lucifer, and that was one of the sticking points with Benjamin. I don't think he likes that one. Nice. Yep. So Flat Earth Hippie saying Venus is both evening and morning star dependent on her position to the sun. Gotcha. Does anyone know what time of year in North America it's either or right now? I can't say I've been paying attention lately, but that's why I love how casual this show is too, because I can just throw out questions and then people are just giving me their 2 cents.
Oh yeah,
which
it's freaking awesome.
Really appreciate. It's
I know,
awesome.
I like it too.
I would rather ask you guys versus Googling it or asking Chat GPT or some AI or something like that. I'd rather have real people. Hey, Pedro, what's up, dude? Just getting here. You guys talking about me? Of course, dude. We're never not talking about you,
always,
man.
Pedro. Jeez.
You're always on the forefront of our mind, dude. Yes, Taurus Field show. That would be cool, right?
It would be. That's a great one. That could be a nice live stream, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Nice. So, Lucas, it's always confusing with modern planetary names and the original meanings of the names. Same goes for the modern zodiac and the original mythology's meaning. Yeah. Chance is saying you are right about Venus, Mario. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Venus in Sanskrit means love. Nice.
Ooh.
I like that.
I do like that. That's awesome.
I mean, that makes perfect sense,
It
too.
makes a ton of sense.
And then even on the Empress card, the Rider-Waite version, she literally has like a heart-shaped sort of thing.
Yep.
And then there's the Venus glyph right there.
And I think it's a green heart.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
I think so. I could be thinking about the herbal deck, though.
Hinterlanders, doesn't Venus wax and wane also? Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. It looks so watery, though. Do you remember how watery it looked like?
Yeah.
You know, if you have like a really nice zoom camera, the P900, you zoom right in.
Yeah.
It's so watery. It's crazy. It almost looks like it's behind water.
Well,
but
it probably is.
I know, but more so even than the other
stars,
planets and stars and stuff. It's
right.
really crazy. Cool. Right. Yeah, totally, man. Swastika is said to be a black sun symbol. Definitely heard that. Also, just I feel as though there's some sort of correspondence with the black sun and Polaris somehow. Not sure exactly what that is. I've heard some people say that Polaris is like the visible cosmic axis star, and then the black sun is like the invisible, perhaps below Earth even, expression of it. So that they operate on a polarity potentially. I've seen graphs or images that are kind of like this too. But yes, there's absolutely a swastika connection with the black sun too. I agree. Cool. So Lee's saying, yes, you can observe the phases of Venus with a good scope. Makes perfect sense. Actually, this has kind of reminded me that there's a woman named Ola Wolny. She's interesting. She's been on several podcasts that I've listened to. And her claim is that a lot of lunar symbolism was actually Venus symbolism.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me about
it's just something interesting to think about because there's so much crossover here, with Venus and the moon and the phases of the moon. Mm-hmm. But she was saying that older groups, cultures, cults, whatever, that they had a serious reverence for Venus and its feminine qualities. and that at some point a lot of those ideas were transferred over to the moon, and she does not personally look at the moon very favorably. And so her whole entire thing is that she thinks that there needs to be kind of a revival of Venusian observance, pretty much, and that people need to kind of do away with. I don't even know. I mean, I'm not saying I agree with this, but she just thinks that people are overemphasizing the moon, underemphasizing Venus. And when stuff like this comes up, it makes me think of that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay, cool. So Jenny's saying that she's an evening star tonight. Cool. That's good to know. All right. Josh was saying June is about when the evening star, morning star thing changes. Phosphorus to Hesperus, I think. Okay, interesting. So it's the evening star right now. Whoa, that's cool. I mean, I think that's interesting for a lot of different reasons.
That's a weave, all right.
Is a cow pasture a Taurus field? Of course.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Taurus field. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, it is interesting. That's really, really interesting for a few different reasons, but I like that. Okay, so Lee is saying here it's not consistent. It goes retrograde every 225 days, I think, for 40 days and 40 nights. Whoa. 7-year cycle correlation to the cellular reproduction of our bodies to form a pentagram in the sky clock.
Wow.
Interesting. Okay. I heard 8 years when I was doing research, but very fascinating. Those numbers are intriguing, to say the least.
Interesting.
Oh, cool. So Sunseed, Rachel's saying, look at the Milky Way and Stellarium. Turn up the speed and watch it. It's like we are traversing a large Taurus field. Yeah, I could totally see it.
Sweet.
Yeah, there's a reason why it's called a Taurus field. And it's one big Taurus field. That center part is, the trunk of the world tree, cosmic axis, all that kind of stuff. It's all the same soup.
Dude, Rachel, we should do a sky watching night. That would be fun.
Yeah,
I wish we could have everybody over for a sky watching night, but that's just not possible. But yeah, that'd be fun.
Okay. Yeah, cool. The Venusian phases of the moon sort of connection is very, very interesting. Okay, so Liam is saying in the UK, Venus has been shining extremely brightly on an evening/early morning lately. Haven't checked for a couple weeks though, and plus a lot golf chemtrails has had the stars covered. Gotcha.
Yeah, they've been spraying a lot by us too lately. A lot.
It's true.
And we're going to be getting a heat wave this weekend. What do you know?
Kind of unrelated. But it is related. The aurora borealis was visible in Utah this week on Monday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
really?
Ben and I talked about this last night, and I've seen headlines, and he showed me some video and stuff. And yeah, people are seeing the northern lights like way further south than people have, like, I think either ever seen them or maybe like in their lifetime or something like that.
Whoa.
And so to me, what I've always heard is that the northern lights, there's a correspondence with literally our electromagnetic field around Earth, the magnetosphere, and the cusp at the north is what creates the phenomenon of the lights. So there's something going on with the magnetosphere of Earth, which is a Taurus field. That's why there's that opening at the north. Alrighty. Cool.
So there's something happening with the magnetosphere right now currently is what people are speculating, or?
Well, I mean, there has to be. If the normie science checks out, there is the magnetosphere around Earth, which looks just like a Taurus field. And that is what the opening of the magnetosphere at the top, which would be like the top of the Taurus field of Earth, that is what creates the phenomenon of the lights. And so if we're starting to see lights further south, in quotes,
right,
what the hell is going on with all of that?
Right.
And then also, actually, my question would be, is the same thing happening on the other side of the North Pole?
Right.
So if we're seeing it further south here, if you go to other parts of the world, are they also seeing the northern lights, or is it somehow kind of drifting this way? Also, this is a normie science thing, but like the shifting of the North Pole and magnetic north is like totally a thing. So it makes me wonder if maybe
Oh,
there's
right.
something going on with that too.
Huh.
I haven't followed that too closely, but just things to think about.
Yeah, as always.
So Lucas is saying the word sun and related terms seem to reference something older other than the fiery ball in the sky. Yeah, he's been saying this lately. Black sun could mean something entirely different. Yeah, man, I really want to unpack some of this stuff with you and see what you've been looking into. Alrighty. Cool. Awesome.
Nice. The sun is what caused the northern light aberration.
The sun is what caused the northern light aberration. Yeah. Interesting. Okay,
Huh.
yeah, I like I said, I have not really looked into it, so I don't really know.
Right, pole shift. Moonlander is asking, or is
Right.
speculating.
Right. That's kind of partly some of what we talked about too.
Yeah, I remember.
Not not the traditional pole shift that a lot of people talk about,
Right.
but maybe it's, that there's something there to this idea of a pole shift, but it's not exactly how a lot of books have written it to be and all that kind of stuff. I don't really know. I have no idea.
I wonder how long that will last or is lasting for people. How long they'll be able to see it. Like, did it just pop up and then now is it gone, or are they currently still seeing it?
I think it's
or-
currently still a thing.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I wonder where in Utah, because you said Utah, right? Or Idaho?
Utah.
Utah. Wow. Damn.
I would guess northern Utah. I have no idea.
I was going to say.
Nicholas wants to know what we're sipping tonight.
We are having pineapple, carrot, and ginger kombucha. I like slammed mine. It was so good.
Yeah.
I want more now.
She slams her drinks. I slam my food.
It's true.
That's like we complement each other so well, guys.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, that's funny. That's always a funny one to bring up.
Awesome. Right on. Well, thank you guys. That was very helpful for me. I feel like I learned a lot, honestly, just from doing that and getting your guys' feedback. So you guys are fantastic, and thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, this is great. This is a good one.
Nice.
Well, nice weave, bub. I like that. I'm really glad that you showed your print and went through everything. That's a good idea.
Yeah, thank you.
Always, pulling out the surprises, huh? Alrighty.
So now it's time for your weave.
Yeah, so now it's time for my weave. And, my weave is all about what I call and what other people call cottage witchery. And actually, I was inspired by raising star seedlings with a comment that she made on one of my YouTube videos. She actually recently watched my interview with Kyle of Tippy Canoe Herbs. And we did that back in December. We did it around the winter solstice, and we went through herbs of the winter solstice, and he brought up holly and how holly has protective qualities. And she was saying in her comment that she was told by a friend that to put holly leaves underneath your doormat for protection. And when she said that, I read that comment. I was like, oh man, I love this kind of stuff. And that's cottage witchery. That was the first thing that came to my mind. And I'm like, that would be a good topic. Because, we've been in spring for a little while now, a month or so, but we're kind of new in the season of spring. And so with cottage witchery, the way I look at it is it's basically working with the seasons and working with the elements around you, bringing them into the home, using them on the home, putting them on doorways or things like that, to symbolize protection or clarity or purification. And I just love this kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's such a simple way to really connect with the seasons. It's a simple way to add elements of magic into your day, into your home, into special rooms and areas of your rooms. And so it's one of my favorite things to do. And also with cottage witchery, I always think about just keeping your house tidy and the act of sweeping, using a broom and what that symbolizes of like the clearing of things. And you're clearing up maybe dirt on the floor, but you're also clearing the energies when you're sweeping your home, and when you're cleaning it, obviously you're cleansing your home.
Right.
For multiple reasons. Obviously you want it to look nice and tidy. There's a freshness that comes to it. There's a renewal that I always feel when I clean the house. And my cleaning days are Thursdays. So I am one of those people that unless, we're really busy or whatever, I clean the house once a week.
Right.
And that's something that I was raised. My mom is like that. So
I can't stop her, guys. this is her thing. She likes to do it. I'm freaking grateful as all hell that that's your deal.
Yeah.
And that I help too.
You do, yes.
On occasion and all of that. But you're like on it. You're like, no, this is the deal.
Yeah. So it's like Thursdays is my cleaning day. I do that. And as I said, my mom instilled that in me as a young girl. She is still the same way. Saturdays are her cleaning days. They still are. They have been forever. They probably always will be. And so having these traditions like that, and taking time to just take care of your space, I think it says a lot. And it really says a lot for your mood and your emotions and your mind when your space is clean and clear. You tend to feel more clean and clear. So
yeah,
one of the
exactly.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
One of the examples of cottage witchery for spring is the flowers that I brought in. Now, one of the things I like to do when the seasons turn and when flowers start to bloom, I love bringing flowers into the house. I love gifting people with bouquets of flowers just a single flower or what have you. Anytime we have guests that come and stay with us, I always, if it's in the summertime,
let's get real close, guys.
I always love to just bring in seasonal flowers. So right here we have dandelion, and the dandelions are kind of starting to close now because they've been in the house, but we have dandelions. And then we have lunaria, which I actually talked to Kyle about today. But lunaria is also known as money plant.
There we go.
And this plant is really cool because it has these beautiful purple flowers. The leaves are kind of stuffed in the bottle, but they have these heart-shaped leaves that always remind me of Venus. The beauty of this flower reminds me of Venus. It comes up during the time of Taurus, and it's known as money plant because in the fall, when the seed pods form, they form these round white coin-looking things, and actually they're really popular to be used in like dried flower arrangements and stuff like that. But there's like a single seed in the center, and then it's this white like film. It's like see-through. You can see the seed, but it straight up looks like coins. I've actually even mistaken one for a coin before, like in the backyard, because these bloom in our backyard like big time.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I remember looking and like doing a double take, and I was like, "Oh, it's just a money plant seed."
Totally. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably know.
So what's the name again? One more time.
Lunaria. And sometimes it's called like, I can't remember. I wrote it down here. Lunaria.
And so lunar, obviously.
Yes.
And then money, moon, lunar.
Yes. Lunaria, silver dollar plant it's sometimes called.
Silver corresponds with the moon.
Yep, totally. So there's a lot of moon stuff, but then the leaves look straight up like a heart. And it's really cool. And so anyway, I just wanted to bring that in as a little nod to cottage witchery, literally being as simple as picking flowers that are of the season, these are wild flowers too. Obviously dandelions are wild. And then the money plant, it grows really a lot in our backyard. And we actually have a spot that we called the money spot when we moved here.
Right.
And dude, the money flowers
they're all right there.
All right there.
Yeah, that's true.
And this year there's more than ever.
Right.
So it's increasing. And so I went to the money spot. I'm like, damn, look at all the money flowers here. The money plant is right here. And so anyway, we deemed that spot the money spot because it's just like this area where you could sit there, you can meditate, you can read, and it's like built up behind,
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, I just thought it was cool. And that's just a nod.
When we first moved here, that's where we would have like lunch and stuff like that too.
Totally.
And so that's where we would hang out. And since then, we've found kind of other places that we like to hang out.
Yeah.
And But anyways, yeah, totally. Wow, that's really cool. I've never thought about that.
Yeah, it's really awesome. You should go out there and look because
Yeah,
it's,
that's a good weave.
and I also the first summer we were here, I tried to nurse this cedar waxwing bird that was injured, right? And so I had it and I brought it I was like feeding it strawberries and stuff, and it didn't end up making it. And so it passed away, and I named him Cedar. And so I buried Cedar at the money spot. Underneath the birdhouse that we have there.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's almost like a little like homage to just that energy there. And
it's kind of like we're turning it slightly into almost like it's like an outdoor altar sort of thing a little bit.
It kind of is.
It feels that way even.
Yeah.
Just naturally.
It does. When you go up to the spot, you can feel it. So
right.
Very cool.
Nice. That's awesome.
So yeah, this is cottage witchery. And you know, a seasonal altar is a really good way to honor the season, and you can do this in your house. So you could have things that remind you or that are truly related to Venus or Taurus. You know, maybe you have a sentimental value to something. Maybe you find something during the Taurus season or the season that it is, and then it speaks to you and you want to honor it. And so you can have a seasonal altar. And you can have a house altar, you know, you can have a personal altar. We've talked about altars on the show before, but that's another way to kind of do this kind of stuff. And I find it to be a very grounding practice. You know, when you're really just honing in on the seasons this way, you're honoring the seasons, and then in turn, you're honoring yourself and you're honoring your home and all the people that come to your home, right?
Right, totally.
And so a lot of times the plants that like the correspondences of plants, the crossover usually will remain the same. Like if you were to bring something into the home, say like rose thorns, or like raising star seedlings brought up, the holly leaves under the doormat, there's protection aspects there. So that is what you're bringing into the home.
Oh, that's really cool.
You know, so you're like using it as sort of like an amulet or something like that of protection that you're bringing into the home. And so, you know, one of the first ones that came to my mind when I was thinking about what I would bring up tonight was like a lot of times you'll hear people say they'll bring St. John's wort. St. John's wort was hung above windows in homes to protect the house from lightning strikes. Now, there's a lot of herbs. If you look into like the folklore of herbs and stuff, a lot of herbs were used to prevent lightning strikes. And actually, Kyle and I talked about this before. We may have talked about it on our interview. I can't remember, but we have talked about this. And it's always funny to me that there's always something about protecting the home from lightning. There's a lot of different plants that will protect the home from lightning, as if it was like a major deal back in the day. And this is just what's coming to me right now. But okay, electroculture is all the rage right now in certain circles, right? But like back in the day, like that's an ancient practice that's been going on forever.
Yeah.
And so what if more homes were being struck by lightning because more people were applying these practices of electrical, you know, trying to bring in electrical currents and stuff?
Well, didn't you say that you heard about some woman who, after doing electroculture, her house was hit by lightning?
I think so, but I think it was somebody in the chat when I was talking about electroculture, Ani. She mentioned that she wrapped quartz with copper, and then her lightning struck very close to her house after she did all of that. So I'm just wondering, I'm spitballing here, but I'm just like, you read through herbal lore books and all these things, is like, why is it that they were always seeking protection from lightning?
I have one potential thought.
Okay.
It makes me wonder if protection from lightning is more symbolic, that you're protecting yourself from the wrath of God. Or from a godlike entity, a Zeus or something like that.
Okay.
You know, a deity that has, that throws lightning bolts and whatever. It makes me wonder if that's actually what it's referencing, is that you're more trying to thwart that deity, the supreme deity, who maybe wants to, or can at least, throw lightning bolts down to the earth or something. Just spitballing, because maybe it's more metaphorical versus literal.
Right, which these things typically are more metaphorical. I mean... Right. I think there's actually the physical thing, but I think that a lot of it is metaphor, kind of like mythology, so much crossover. Sometimes these things it is more metaphorical with some of the stuff. Or like I think about like the witch's brew. Is it like, were they really using like bat hearts, or was it like something else? Or
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or
right.
like stuff like that. I've always wondered about. So that's a good thought. The wrath of God.
And I'll just say too, the other thing, I really have appreciated and loved, first off, the beauty and the feminine stuff that you bring into the home, which if I were left to my own devices, probably would not be like that.
I mean, maybe.
No,
but
I don't think so.
no, I remember your apartment before we were really dating
100%.
seriously.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't that bad.
It was a
but
dude apartment, though.
It was a dude apartment.
And so I appreciate it. And then also what I've really liked is when we are harvesting and we're like drying things or something like that, and we're drying them in the home, it's freaking awesome to have, I don't know, whatever it is we're drying, just hanging around the house.
Yeah, those energies are real.
The energies are totally real. And so, I don't know, to me, it's such a simple sort of thing. There's a practical thing because they need to be hung somewhere, but there's also, it's beautifying the space too. And it's also just the energy to me feels much better when that's kind of going on, So bringing plants into the home to me, it has been like not a revelation, but it's been something that I've really appreciated about, what you've brought to the table.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
You bring the beauty, baby.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I love doing it. It's really fun, and it's very therapeutic for me to like, make a bouquet or even a simple one like I just showed. It's very simple. There's 5.
It makes a difference.
It really does. It totally makes a difference, and it's awesome. And flowers are beautiful gifts for a good reason.
Right.
It's no coincidence that that's like a great gift that you can give to almost anyone.
Right.
So it's always a nice little thing to do.
Exactly.
So another one, St. Bridget's cross, usually typically hung, on February 1st. And so Bridget is a fire goddess. And so, symbolically speaking, when you make and then hang the St. Bridget's cross above the doorway, it's said to protect the home from fires. Which makes sense to me because Bridget is a fire goddess. So she is coming in. You're bringing her into your home. You're bringing her onto the threshold to protect the home from fires.
Interesting.
And so anyway, it's also kind of like a symbolic of abundance too, I think, in my opinion, because, typically sometimes February 1st can even be looked at as like the first day of spring, depending on what calendar you follow, if I'm remembering correctly. Or some people say it's like the February 1st is when the fairies begin to awake, depending on your outlook on all this stuff. And so anyway, there's like an abundance thing too. Go ahead.
I was just going to say regarding the cross too, and why this makes sense is, the cross definitely is related to, there's multiple crosses in the zodiac, right? So the mutable cross, fixed cross, etc. But definitely the cross kind of has a symbolic representation with crossing these thresholds of the seasons. So the equinoxes and the solstices, which obviously has a major thing to do with the sun, the return of the sun or whatever. And so it's not uncommon for solstice and equinox rituals to involve fire. Pretty much.
Yes.
And kind of being symbolic of the fire of the sun sort of thing.
Yeah.
Traditionally, basically.
Yeah.
So anyway, thought I'd throw that out there.
That's a great one. Let's see what else. I have some notes, so I just want to make sure Okay, so evergreens, what's one of the most common things? People bring a Christmas tree into the home, during the holidays, or you make a wreath, or you make a hanging bough of evergreens with maybe some holly and things like that. That is seriously one of my favorite things to do. We haven't had a Christmas tree like in years. I think the last time we had a Christmas tree was when your parents came to visit us.
They like forced us to go.
Yeah, his mom was all about it. She's like, you have to have one and blah, blah, blah. But what I do is I will go out and I'll bring in evergreens or make like a bundle or something that I can hang or place on like the coffee table as a centerpiece or something like that, and so just the evergreen kind of symbolizing everlasting health. In the winter, you're wanting to sometimes clear a space or clarify or purify. There's a nice clearing energy to the evergreen, and then the smell is just so fresh. And then what's better than having a nice something green, to see something green in the winter when it's usually more drab and white and dark, and most all trees don't have any more leaves on them, but the evergreens have their needles.
True.
And there's also connection to fertility symbolism with the pine cone. So you can bring pine cones in, like maybe you are trying to conceive a child, work with pine cones, bring them into your space where you're, where you're trying to conceive, and every room, you can have little charms in every single room, depending on what's going on and what your intentions are. Using salt is a really nice thing. Like you can keep little bowls of sea salt throughout your home, and sea salt's very protective. It can really absorb negative or unwanted energies. And then when you're doing this kind of stuff too, it's always really important to like clear these things too. So maybe you've had a couple bowls of salt in the house for a couple months. Might be a good time to compost that, send it back to the mother, and then maybe refill your bowls with refresh these things, and that's the other thing, when the season ends, maybe you've had something in the house for a whole season. It's good to return that back to the mother, compost it, and kind of like let it do its own natural cycle of like decomposing and returning back.
And you take that very seriously.
I do. And I really like to really do that. Or if I've bound stuff together, I always am very aware of cutting that away, cutting that tie, and then separating all the elements that were together, because they need to be their individual selves. They were all bundled together in like a powerhouse for a while, but that energy changes and it shifts. But even if you have a bouquet, it's all beautiful, but you have to remember that each piece of beauty is one single thing, just like us. Where you can have a community, but a strong community is only strong if each individual is very strong.
Totally.
And so anyway, that kind of mentality really goes a long way. We like to use runes around the doorways specifically. I really enjoy the runes. We both do. I feel like I'm a constant student of the runes, and I use a certain bind rune over our door for protection. Brooms are another great thing to have near the thresholds. Whether you have a broom like leaning against a doorway, or we have like a little mini broom that hangs next to the door, and that's said to kind of keep out like more nefarious, any darker energies like black magic or things, or like negative energy that might be being cast in your direction or something, which hopefully that's not the case for anybody. But, these things are blasted out all the time, and so you can take little precautions to, just protect yourself and protect your home. And then one of the more classic ones is the horseshoe over the door, with the ends pointing up, symbolizing good luck, symbolizing prosperity, and good luck and prosperity to all the people that are within the home. And what's interesting is that a horseshoe hung over the door of a blacksmith's forge is typically downward. And now I don't know 100% why that difference is, but I think of just like the heaviness of iron and the creation of all of these things. Like there's like a downward sort of energy or something.
Oh yeah. I have a few hunches about that.
Okay.
When you have the horseshoe with it upward, you're creating a cup.
Yes.
You're creating a vessel.
Right.
Which can be filled. So it's more holistic. And so you're actually opening yourself up to receive the abundance of nature or of the universe. When it's down, you're pouring your cup outward.
Right.
And so things could potentially be spilling out. So as a abundance prosperity symbol, upward cup symbolism to me would be like receiving that from, the world around you or whatever. That's the intention, at least. And then blacksmith symbolism is pretty heavy because there's some gnarly myths involving blacksmiths. The first one that comes to mind, I believe it's Hephaestus. And one of the deals with him is that he was really unattractive. That he's unattractive, and that I believe he had a hard time finding a partner, and I can't remember who he ended up trying to sleep with. But he had to basically trick, or he forced himself upon a woman, basically.
Okay.
And so there is more, just like as you're saying, like more of like
Heavy.
a heavier sort of energy. My understanding is that a lot of like the people that are associated with blacksmith symbolism, there is a heaviness associated with them. And think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're literally like forging metal, and you're working with metal. It's called a blacksmith. And so just it's not an easy job, very
Right.
physical, all this kind of stuff, but yeah, necessary and all of that. So yeah, I can kind of see why they would do that.
Yeah, I mean that it does make sense, and that was the first. Yeah, heaviness was the first thing that I thought of. The other thing too with spring, a good thing to look for is just like branches, blooming and budding branches. And there's a lot to be said about working with the buds of plants because they're just like this whole powerhouse of potential. Like it's a bud that is not yet open, but it's been forming and it's like getting ready to open. So it's just like, it's like at the starting line, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then it finally opens. And so it's just like this burst of energy. So working with buds on plants and branches is very powerful. And one of the, I showed it last week, but forsythia is one of the first blossoms of spring, and a lot of times it's just bright yellow. It's very cheerful, so it's that first light after the winter. So bringing forsythia into the home symbolizes just that cheerfulness of spring, the revitalization that comes with this time of year, and like kind of just taking a deep breath and being like, oh, the sun has returned. It's coming back, you know? And so more of the heaviness of winter is leaving, and that bright yellow shiny color of the forsythia flower kind of brings that energy in. And so that's a really nice one to work with. Cherry blossoms around this time of year.
Ooh, yeah.
You can get yourself some really nice cherry blossom branches, bring that in. Daffodils, I could sit here and list all the spring plants, but I don't need to. You guys can just really, use your imaginations with it and how you can incorporate these things into the home. And then lastly, it's important, like you can work with colors. And so all colors have symbolic meaning to them. So you can pick colors and work with it this way. And I have to shout out this book here. It's literally called Cottage Witchery. This is if whoever's interested in this topic, I highly, highly recommend this book. Ellen Dugan. I'm pretty sure it's on Llewellyn. I think Llewellyn is the publisher. I found this book at an occult store that we went to in Long Beach years ago, and I reference this book quite. She has so many things in there, colors and flowers and charms and spells and all these sorts of cool things, just right along lines of all of the things we've been talking about. So find yourself that book if you're interested in it. It's really great, and I really love it. She's a great writer too, and it's very simple, very thoughtful, and she goes through a lot of her own personal practices too. And one of the things that she talks about in this book that I just wanted to bring up is our hex signs. And actually, you can see it. I'll just show these.
Oh, cool.
But a hex sign are symbols intended to bring wealth or protection. These striking geometric designs were produced with the belief that they would ward off bad luck and preserve peace, love, and prosperity in the home. Families chose their hex signs based on the colors, designs, and meanings. And so she goes through all of the different symbols you can use, but she also has an example of a couple of these. And I think they're really nice. It kind of like reminds me of quilty, like a quilt sort of. Some of them look like a quilt pattern or whatever, but you can see this one here on the bottom left. It has like acorns and oak leaves all around it, so it's just really cool. And you could make your own and you can hang them like outside your door. And then even I'm looking at like the coaster I'm using right now, kind of reminds me of like what this could
Oh yeah,
something very similar like this.
very folky.
Very folky. So anyway, but the hex signs, I really like that. And you can customize them and make them, something special for you and your family or your home, your household, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, always encouraging people to just work with the seasons in these sorts of ways, because it's really powerful and
Right.
really nice.
Hell yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great topic.
Yeah, I love this one. It's really good.
Totally. I also the other thing too with you always bringing plants in the house and stuff is each plant is honestly its own sort of conversation piece. There's things to talk about. There's things to look at. You kind of have a new appreciation for it. I don't know. In a way, it's almost like when you put a flower in a vase, it's kind of like framing a piece of art. In a way, obviously it's beautiful out in nature, so it doesn't need to be framed. It doesn't need to be put in a vase, but it's almost like there's an extra emphasis put on it, and then it's put on a table or something like that, right? So it kind of begs to be either discussed or something along those lines. Attention is brought to it.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yep.
So yeah, very cool. Well, this is the time to talk about it too.
It is, because things are starting to bloom, and it's time to be able to, share it with people. So
Totally.
yeah.
Nice. All right. So you've got a lot of comments to go over.
Yeah, I'll cruise through here. Let's see.
And maybe I'll adjust the light here. You're a little blown out.
I think it's just because I moved forward.
Yeah, but I think I don't know.
Anyway, it's okay.
We could adjust it a little bit.
All right, let's see where we start here. Thanks,
go.
guys, for hanging out and throwing in your thoughts. All right. Okay. So let's see. All right. I'm trying to find where. Cottage core. Cottage core fashion. Yes. Nice. That's awesome. Thank you, Rachel. All right. Yes. Okay. That's exactly, Hank. Open end up so the luck doesn't run out. Yep. Definitely. And I think, who was it that mentioned that? The horseshoe. Yeah. I knew that I would get there. So that's cool that you guys were already there. Yes. Yeah, sweeping is meditative, clearing the mind. I find the same thing to be true for sure. I love it. All right. Stacy Sunshine just had daffodils in here until yesterday. Yeah, sometimes they don't last very long, but it's just nice to bring it in. Tulips bloomed over by Lee this week. Money shot on the money plant. That's right. Yes. Oh, yeah, shucks. Sunseed said, yes, Michelle made me the most beautiful flower crown. What a blessing. Yeah, that was a fun one. Oh, my God. I was so honored that you asked me to help you with that, and we were able to do it. And I was so glad we still had some flowers that were around blossoming, because, yeah, her crown was gorgeous. It came out so nice. Kyle says they're called Pope coins in Italy, the translation. Very cool. I like that.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Venus rules Taurus and Libra, the beginning and end of the growth season, Alpha and Omega. Pretty sure the lunar occultation of Venus is the Islamic symbol.
Ooh,
that's a good one. It never ends.
Dude, that's a great one, Lee. Very interesting. I don't think I've ever heard that take before.
Cozy Chrome. When I first moved in, there was this little field of forget-me-nots. So cute. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, and flowers too, just in general. It's like when you give someone a flower, most people remember that kind of stuff. Like they'll remember,
Oh yeah, of
oh, they
course.
gave me a flower. So the fact that there's a flower called Forget Me Not, it's like the flower is
Oh,
kind of, I don't
yeah,
know,
yeah.
symbolizing
That's cute.
that. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, lunaria is a beautiful word. I agree. I totally agree with that. And let's see. Okay, Sarah G says, nice. Thank you. My house was struck by lightning a few years ago. Well, yep, St. John's wort
It
over the
happens.
windows. Yeah. Yeah, don't put copper rods in trees. Yeah, I agree. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So Joshua the Branch says, house being hit by lightning reminds me of the tower card. Lightning striking the house of God. Yeah.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. Exactly.
It's interesting that lightning is an example of the connection between earth and sky. Oh, yeah, totally.
That's a good one.
And then
as
hitting
well.
earth, yeah, it's like the grounding aspect too. It's like seeking the ground.
Yeah, it's bridging that gap.
Yep, totally.
Oh, cool. I like what he said as well regarding Holly Leaf right there.
Where's that?
Right above. Go up. Right there. Holly Leaf was called bat wings.
Ooh, interesting.
That makes sense.
Oh, I like that.
That's cool. So when you scroll,
Yeah.
because you miss some.
Okay.
If you scroll too quickly.
Okay.
Just
Thank you.
Just so you're aware.
Oops. All right. Chance says, found out Bridget's husband is
Angus.
Oh,
And the
god
cow.
of love to the Celts.
Like Angus beef.
Ah.
Nice. That's cool.
I like that.
Interesting. Super grateful. I learned so much from these comments.
I know,
honestly.
me too. It's really
That's why I
cool.
really like that we take the time just to go back and read them.
Me too. It's worth it. And it's cool that people taking the time to share. So
Right.
we should take some time to look.
Right.
Let's see.
Yep, that's right. So click Chance's one
This
again.
one?
So Angus is a lot like Agni or Ignis Dei. Igni. Yep, exactly.
Very cool. I don't know. So Shu.
Shu is air, or the pillar gave space so the world could be created. Yep. Pillar, world axis sort of stuff.
Huh. Shu, 70% nitrogen. Interesting. I always think of nitrogen. When I think of nitrogen, I think of soil. And then when I think of soil, I think of life. So that's cool.
Ben talked about that last night a little bit.
Oh, okay. Nitrogen and soil.
I
with the
believe-
manure and versus the cow versus alpaca.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I remember that.
Right. So yeah, I thought that was intriguing.
Okay. Cool. Cinnamon stick over your main entrance door. Do you what's the symbolic aspect of that one, Stacy? If you're still around. Yep, I love the broom chime. One of my go-tos, mine too. Charm. Sorry, I have some sort of connection with brooms. They're like either I find them, they're attracted to me, I'm attracted to them.
People give you them.
People give me them. It's like it's just this weave I have. That's why I have them hanging in my
You grew broom corn.
Yep, and we're gonna grow some more this year.
Right.
And so it's just like I have this deep connection with brooms as well, and I keep them around. I love them. I love how they look. I love the symbolism of them. I love the connection with the witches.
So blacksmiths are attracting the energies from below the chthonic realm. Nice, dude.
Yes, there
That's
you
a great
go.
one.
That's
Hell yeah.
it. Okay, cool.
That's
I like
perfect. Cool. Not to hijack the mouse.
No, you should totally scroll. You're better at.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You just scroll too fast is all.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. So, because you could just scroll lightly.
Right.
I'll give you a scrolling lesson later. What do you think?
Okay.
Right when we're done. Nice. Oh yeah, shit. Right on, Jenny G. That's a great one. Interesting considering north/south node glyphs, horseshoes.
Oh yeah.
Very, very similar sort of opening kind of thing, right?
Yep, it is.
That's perfect.
That's
dude.
a great one.
Jenny, your connections are awesome. I really appreciate. There's like I literally know like 4 or 5 things that you've mentioned over time that I keep in mind routinely, and so I always try and shout you out if I ever mention any of them. But that's freaking great. So, Joshua, yes, Mario, also pouring the molten metal. Hephaestus was also lame but wed to Aphrodite. Yeah, that's what Chance is saying here too. Hephaestus was married to Aphrodite/Venus in some myths. Yeah, I'm wondering because my understanding is Hephaestus he spilled his seed on the ground, which is what it impregnated Gaia and created Erichthonius, the king charioteer who had serpents for legs. So it was because Hephaestus, at least in some myths, forced himself upon, I can't even remember who it was now, to be honest. He spilled his seed on the ground. That ended up creating Erichthonius, which Erichthonius, having his serpentine legs, he needed a way to get around. And so he created a chariot. And so they say that he either invented the chariot or the first 4-horsed chariot, which is called the quadriga. And it just reminds me a lot of Abraxas, because Abraxas has serpentine legs and then he has a 4-horse chariot and stuff like that.
Right.
So the blacksmith is literally the father of that figure. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Okay.
So almost kind of just by transference, and this might be, stretching or whatever. So potentially under that line of mythology, serpentine-legged people associated with chariots were the father is a blacksmith.
Okay.
Is what we're kind of talking about here.
Well,
that's
the
my understanding.
Chariot is usually drawn by horses or pulled by horses.
Yeah, exactly. So he also cast a net over Ares and Aphrodite when she cheated on him with Ares. Interesting. Okay. But she catches her cheating on him with Ares/Mara. Gotcha. Dude, so
Chance
cool.
Chance and
that...
Joshua are on the same weave there.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. Yep, jinx. Nice. All right. And obviously, if there's anything here that you want me to, because people are talking about just Forsythia is blooming all over here in northern Utah right now.
Right.
That's
awesome.
cool. That's good to know.
Bring some inside.
And then Stacy's saying she's going to bring some wisteria tomorrow.
Nice.
Bring some in. Yeah. So my Cherie is saying, she's like, Michelle, your hair looks extra lovely. What did you use differently from your hair episode?
What did I use differently? Well, so the hair episode was my wash day. So it may have looked a little more feathery or like light, I guess. And then
I think the lighting could be something too.
The lighting might be different. Yeah, the lighting is definitely different, I would say, in here. It's darker in here and there's more light in my office. Yeah, but I haven't done anything. I haven't washed it since. So I watched it on
lighting
Tuesday.
can make such a huge difference.
Yeah, so it might even look
I wonder
darker.
if it has something to do with it. Oh, the camera's better here.
Yeah.
Than your camera too on your laptop.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yep. So haven't really done anything, but thank you for the compliment. Appreciate it.
And Nicholas agrees.
Oh, thank you guys. That's nice.
I was thinking that when you wrote it. Cool. All right. Right. Yeah, totally. Jenny G, because she's a designer. She knows what's going on. There's a lot of gravy in coding language. Isn't it interesting that hex is the title applied to color coding? Yeah, exactly. The hexadecimal number.
Oh, interesting.
For sure. So that's like the thing.
Then they're all about color. It's all about using colors.
Yeah. Totally.
Like that.
Nice.
Oh, Cozy Crone. Yeah, it reminds me of Barn Squares.
Yes, totally.
I thought the same thing. I thought the exact same thing. Yes.
Yeah, I've always wanted to look into barn squares, actually. I never have, but in the Oregon area, Washington area,
yeah,
especially for whatever reason going towards the coast.
Yep.
They're like all over the place.
Yeah, they are. And I remember we would always see them and be like, "What is that? That's so cool." And whatever, but yeah.
There's even one on the Bridge of the Gods. I don't know if you've noticed.
There is?
Yeah, there's one above, somewhere on the bridge or above the toll little building thing. There's a barn square.
Okay. I'll look for that next time. Next time I cross the toll bridge.
Yep. Forget-me-nots were planted on graves. That's interesting.
That makes sense. That's a really great one.
Okay.
Very cool. This is a good one.
It is a good one. Got some really cool people here.
Okay, Stacy Sunshine says cinnamon also wards off ants. Yes, I have heard that with cinnamon for sure. I think I heard Chance talking about that, actually, saying that he used cinnamon and it kept them away. Oh, barn squirrels are part of the Underground Railroad. Joshua the Branch.
Oh, okay.
Very cool.
I wondered if like our barn squares, the vibe that I've gotten is that potentially I wonder if like families have a specific design.
Right.
And then it's like then you kind of use that design that your parents or grandparents used or something like that.
I could see something like that.
I have
for
no
sure
idea
going on.
Just kind of curious.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. Nice, guys. Great stuff. So we're about 2 hours in. That was an excellent weave. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, good. I liked yours too. I was really glad that you brought up your print and everything and went through it with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Sweet. Well, you want to put a ribbon on this episode?
Let's tie it on.
Okay, cool, guys. Okay, one last thing, just because Josh was acknowledging it. The barn squares is like a language, like a hobo language of sorts. Okay, cool.
Okay,
I gotta look into this, man.
That's good. I like that.
I'm intrigued. I'm curious. Gotcha. All right, so we have some things to show you here at the very end. But yeah, obviously, as always, thank you once again to our patrons. And I saw, if I'm not mistaken, we haven't checked our email or anything, but if you're saying that that's the case, I believe Jenny maybe subscribed to your Patreon. I think I saw that in the chat somewhere.
Ah, Jenny, thank you. That's so awesome. Thank you so much.
So thank you guys.
Well, you'll be up on the list.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, my lady. That's very nice. Appreciate it.
Chance Garten, Binaboo, Lockjaw Jane, Liam Anderson, who is here in the chat, Amy Messner, who is here in the chat.
Yes.
And now Jenny G. 2 Gartens
Woo-hoo!
As your patrons. That's pretty nice.
That's pretty awesome. Thank you, guys. Love you guys.
Yeah, super cool, guys. So, yeah. So once again, if you're interested, patreon.com/thehealinghome. Anyways, yeah, that's awesome.
That is awesome. It's such a great
You guys
feeling,
are so supportive,
honestly.
dude. Man.
And I have to say, Patreon, we've talked about me starting a Patreon for like years. And so, I don't know. It's just really cool that a lot of the things that I and we have been working towards for a long time are starting to come to fruition. And we're really seeing things happening. No doubt we're constantly just doing things and creating stuff, but it's been, sometimes I look at it and go, wow, it's been a long time coming, and it just feels really rewarding to be at this point. And I'm very grateful to have all of you guys in our lives and to be part of the communities that we're forming and meeting people. And gosh, yeah, it's just really cool.
Yeah.
It feels amazing.
It's a beautiful thing. Oh, yeah.
It is something special.
Absolutely. Jenny G says, keep rocking.
Aw.
#keep rocking.
Thank you. We will.
Nice. Real quick, Hinterlanders is saying, Mark Stavish mentions barn squares here and there. Also, they look a lot like Native American quilts. Interesting. Yeah, I've read one Mark Stavish book. It was his egregore book. I really liked it. I thought it was great. And so I need to check out more of his stuff. Thank you for the heads up. And then Nicholas here is asking, is that Mount Hood? It is Mount Hood.
Good eye.
Yeah. So all of the photos, I've been trying to keep it, here in the Pacific Northwest within our region. And we're not too far away from Mount Hood. I tried to use one other photo from who knows where or whatever. It just did not feel right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as long as we can help it, you know what I mean? We should definitely do Pacific Northwest photography.
Yeah, we should. And I know I said this before, we should make it a point to go out on our own and take some photos.
Yeah. Totally. Exactly. Alrighty. So what's going on next week, bub?
Next week, I have Beth Martins of the House of Free Will. She's coming on to the show. That's May 2nd at 4 p.m. Very excited to talk with Beth. I am like I'm honored that she would like to come on, and I'm just really so excited for our conversation because I've been getting to know her more and more. I said this on my show on Tuesday, but me, Beth, and Rachel all did a talk about the dark feminine back in November of 2022, and that show is up on Rachel's Odyssey channel, Local Goddess, and the three of us threw down on the dark feminine, and it was a really nice chat. And I think there's talks of us doing a part 2 on that one, but that might be down the pipeline a little bit. But for now, I will have some time with Beth Martins on my show, The Healing Home, and we're going to get into her work and her story and just see where the conversation takes us. And then I'm going to be on her show on May 10th. So that'll be exciting too. So me and Beth are going to, have a little back and forth coming
That's
up here in
cool.
May.
I'm excited for that too.
Very excited.
Nice.
Yes, so I still have 2 bars of Red Clay and Shea soap available for the full moon offering. So get a hold of me if you're interested in that. I'm sold out of shampoo, but I'm actually planning on, depending on what goes on this weekend, I might make soap either Sunday or Monday. So
Right.
Either way, it's either going to be made on Sunday or on Monday. So within about a month from now, I'll be replenished with more soaps.
Your soap really, people like it.
They do, and I really
tends
like
to
it.
go faster than other things.
It does. I like it. I like making it, and it's fun to share it. So, yeah.
And just real quick, the number 31 here is a reference to your newsletter number.
Yes.
So if you guys want to know what she's making and when it's coming out and have, basically get your emails about it once a month, which you also provide other information and some of the other stuff you're up to.
Yeah.
You can subscribe to her newsletter on her website. So there's that. And then here's your menu.
Yes. So Red Clay and Shea soap is up here. CBD whip body butter. I just made a fresh batch of that last week. So that's definitely available. The scent is orange and cedarwood. I've got one more bottle left of my horseradish fire cider. And let's see, CBD and St. John's wort massage and body oil. I've got one more of those too. So yeah, get a hold of me if any of these things up here look like something you want to try. And we can get it going.
Nice.
michelleshealinghome@gmail.com. michelleshealinghome.com for other information. If you want to read my blog or you want to learn about my consultations, I have a video up on there that we made just giving the details of what I like to talk about. And if you want to place orders, you have to email me because I only do direct sales. So just email me at michelleshealinghome@gmail.com. And you can also text me 503-568-1569. So snail mail, if you guys feel like sending us anything, P.O. Box 930, Carson, Washington 98610.
And then if you guys are interested in what I'm up to, symbolicstudies.com. There's links down below as well. And I believe that'll do it.
Yeah, I think so.
Also, Astro Herbalism next week.
Yep, on
Interverse.
Vibrant.
Yep.
We're going to be me, Mario, Kyle, Chance, and Slick going to throw down on Taurus herbs. And I am so very excited for Taurus.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a great one. All of them I'm always excited for, and we always have a really great time. But yeah, this is going to be a nice juicy one for Venus, so it'll be fun.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right, guys, until next time.
Yep.
Check you later.
See you later.
Yeah, have a good weekend.
All right, bye-bye.
See ya.